What if sustainability was not only for the 1%? I am Jorge Gascon, I'm a professor at KAUST, and I am the founder of ClimateCrete. ClimateCrete is a startup that we initiated 2.5 years ago. We focused in trying to make construction sustainable. Everybody talks about sustainability, right? Sustainability will only be something if it is local, and even more important than that, sustainability has to be affordable. You can be a CEO in Silicon Valley and be able to afford a house that is going to have 0 CO2 emissions, and that's great. But you are not solving much because you are part of the 0.1%, right? We need to decrease emissions in every single building. And that cost cannot be passed to the buyer of the building. We need to do that at similar cost as we are building at this moment. So this is our concept, and this is exactly what we are doing. And also the reason why we are growing so fast. When you go to a developer and you tell them, I have a sustainable solution for you, the first question that they are going to ask you is, okay, at what price? So I was leading the Circular Carbon Economy Initiative at KAUST. And we had the pleasure to work with Bill McDonough, a very famous architect. You know, he actually built the first energy efficient house in the world. Time Bill told me, Jorge, did you know that the world is running out of sand, out of good sand that can be used for the construction? And he passed me a few articles. And that night I sent an email to 2 guys from my team, and the subject of the email was crazy idea. Right? And I told them, please go to the desert, pick up some sand, bring it back to the lab, and let's do this, and this, and let's see what happens. Sand is one of the main components of concrete. Concrete is basically the blood of our buildings. Very large development projects have to transport sand from places which are 200 kilometers away. Transporting these huge amounts of sand for the very large amounts of concrete that we have to make results in tremendous CO2 emissions, and that brings up also the cost of concrete. What we do is we transform local materials into sand that can be used to make much more sustainable concrete. From the very beginning, we have conceived a design that is modular and easily transportable. Because again, you want your construction to be local, right? So you might be operating your mobile plant for 2 years in this location, then take it in a couple of weeks and move it to the next location where you are close to the batching plant. And this is something that we start in our lab at KAUST. At a certain moment, we meet investors that are very interested in this technology. ClimateCrete now has grown quite a lot. We have an amazing CEO. He's located in California. He's been CEO of several startup companies. We have a part-time CFOs, so basically roles that you need to have if you want to seriously dive into the startup world. And we have now a pilot facility right outside of KAUST. We try to address big questions, and somebody has to do that. Somebody has to answer those questions. So the drive of the team we may start a day with a problem. Our aim is always to get by the end of that working day with that problem solved. There is a hunger in the kingdom for new technologies, for new applications. So we have had plenty of support, and probably the most important support is the alignment of the university and the recognition of the importance of those tasks by the kingdom. Also like to say that what I have done here in the 8 years that I have been at KAUST would have taken me 3 careers if I had stayed in Europe. I think that if we continue the speed at which we are expanding, I see ourselves playing a very major role kingdom-wide, transforming material that otherwise will be seen as a waste into material that can be used for construction, reducing the CO2 emissions from these developments to a very large extent. But I also see us moving to other countries. So I see a very big expansion. I'm really an engineer at heart. I love to solve problems. The excitement when you get technology out there being applied, I mean, this is basically what I have wanted my whole life. Being able to solve a problem and to have that solution applied at a large scale, I cannot imagine anything better. I'm Jorge Gascon, and I'm on a mission to make building the future sustainable.